So thank you, Susanna, for the introduction and welcome everyone. As Susanna said, it's a pleasure to have you here and also a surprise to see so many people to this training course. So we are really happy about it. So my name is Isabel Martinez, and together with Susie, I'm working on this project, Project Pink. As she said, today is the start of the training course that we developed in the framework of this project. So before we move on with the training course, I would actually like to present a little bit what this project is and the objectives and so on. So this training course, as some of you may know, was created and published in the frame of the Erasmus Strategic Partnership called PINK, so Empowering Preschool Educators, Best Practices and Resources for Inclusion of Children with Behavioral Disabilities. So the main aim of this project is to empower preschool teachers with the competencies and resources needed to implement inclusive education for children with behavioral disabilities. The project was developed in the area of school education, of course, specifically preschool. KA2 projects are Erasmus projects that wish to promote cooperation among educational institutions, organizations, and stakeholders across Europe, with the aim of enhancing the quality and accessibility of education. If you want to check out the project, you can scan this QR code and it will redirect you to the project website where we published all of the results. I'm sure that there will be many resources that are useful for your teaching, so I invite you to check it out. Specifically, this project has a duration of 33 months. It started in October 2023 and it will finish next year in 2026 in June. So let's say we are more or less at the last stage of this project. Of course, we are not alone in this project. We have many amazing partners. As Erasmus Learning Academy Italy, we are coordinating the project and we're partnering with our Spanish colleagues from Tenerife of Erasmus Learning Academy SRL. We also are partnering with 3 preschools from Lithuania, Romania, and Estonia. My pronunciation in any of these languages is not very good, so forgive me. Our Lithuanian partners are Katino Dienelis Mokikla. Our Romanian partners are Gradinita Cu Program Prelungit number 37 from Braila. And lastly, we have from Estonia, Rakvere Kungla Lasteaed. I'm sorry about the pronunciation again. It has been a very fruitful partnership. Thanks to the having in this project 3 preschools where we could directly test the outcomes of this project. The main objectives of the PINK project are to raise awareness on early age disability among educators and parents, to share best practices among educators to address the target, and to empower preschool teachers with competencies to implement inclusive education. Of course, another aim is also to foster international cooperation in the field of inclusion for children with disabilities. The main target groups of this project are, first of all, preschool teachers, educators, and other personnel of preschools and childhood centers, preschool teacher trainers or educators that are providing courses to preschool teachers, and lastly, of course, children with behavioral disabilities aged 0 to 6 and their families. During the course of this project, we have developed many, let's say, tools and outputs. First of all, we produced a reflection tool that is an instrument designed to promote reflection, dialogue, and awareness regarding disability and inclusion themes within preschool settings. So our aim was to help educators assess their practices and their beliefs. The second result was an awareness campaign whose aim was to increase understanding and awareness of inclusion and diversity in early childhood education, fostering a more inclusive environment for all children and their families. We also created and hosted inclusive best practices webinars featuring expert speakers, sharing strategies, resources, and insights on fostering inclusion in preschool settings. And with these webinars, we covered various topics that are relevant to educators and parents alike. We also created an OER, so an open educational resource with best practices. So this platform provides freely accessible educational materials and resources that showcase effective strategies for inclusive education, allowing educators to enhance their teaching practices. As for today, of course, we are let's say, introducing our new activity, which is the training course for preschool teachers. With this course, we want to equip educators with the knowledge and with the skills that are necessary to implement inclusive practices in their classrooms, ensuring that all children receive the support that they need to thrive. The last activity that we will implement in the framework of this project is a preschool kit, which is a collection of resources, activities, and tools that are designed to support educators in creating inclusive learning environment, promoting engagement and understanding among diverse learners. So the preschool kit is not in the website yet because we are finalizing it and we will test it next year. But it's the last, let's say, piece of the puzzle that is missing as the results of our project. So this was a bit of a presentation of our project Pink. I guess we can start with the actual training course. So today we will be presenting Module 1. The title of this module is Inclusive Education, Basic Concepts and Benefits. So the main aim of this first module is to set the foundation on what inclusion is, maybe learn or freshen up some of the vocabulary involved, and also make sure that the basic concepts are covered in order to proceed with the next modules. So we can start with the first section, which is what is inclusion. So before we dive in the definition of what inclusion is, I would actually like to hear from you. So we're going to have a small activity that is divided into two parts. The first part is individual, and the second will be in groups. So we will divide you into breakout rooms. So I will now give you about, let's say, 6 minutes, so until 4:20. And I would like you to individually take a piece of paper and write down all the words that come to mind when you think about the concept of inclusion, especially related to the field of education. Okay, so in 6 minutes, we will divide you into breakout rooms. And I will ask you to discuss these words from your list with the other members from your breakout group, and together try to come up with a definition of the word inclusion. Okay, so let's start with the individual part. So take a piece of paper and write down all the keywords that come to mind when it comes to the concept of inclusion. Okay, so I guess you have written down your list of keywords related to the concept of inclusion. So Susanna will now divide you into breakout rooms. I remind you what you have to do in the breakout rooms is to discuss the words from your list with the other members and together try to come up with a definition of the word inclusion. Okay, so keep in mind that in the breakout rooms, you will not see this slide. So if you want, you can take a picture of the slide just to have it in mind in case you have some doubts on the task. Okay.
Okay, I'm launching the breakout rooms, so you will be automatically divided in different groups.
Hello.
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 Have you got any ideas about what it is the inclusion?
Maybe I can say something about inclusion in Poland.
Yeah.
So the idea is that every child has the right to education in the local school, not in separate or specialized institution. So it's an inclusion in Poland.
Okay. I'm coming from Italy. So in my opinion, inclusion, it's when children can feel safe and free to be themselves in a context when a teacher or more than one teacher can let them to be creative and at the same time give them some rules to grow up their skills in learning education.
Thank you. I agreed. I got in my mind the word. Oh, sorry, I forgot right now. Let somebody else speak. Sorry.
Where are you from?
I'm from Estonia.
Okay.
Yes. I thought about the word belonging. You know that
Yeah.
every child needs a place where to belong. This is the main aim for me when I think about inclusion, belonging, that they can feel like they belong here with other.
Hello, I'm also from Estonia, and that's the same word I'm thinking of, and learning together and supporting when needed.
And adaptation, maybe, to another children without disabilities.
Yes, definitely.
Stay together with the group of peers, not separately.
Yes. Be with the group is important, with peers. Yes.
Yes, and I agreed with Yelena. She's writing to the chat exactly what you said, Renata. All children study together in a kindergarten near their home. Exactly.
Sometimes special kindergarten is far away from their homes. So in inclusion, it's important that they can go to the school or preschool, which is beside their homes. Not far, for example, in another city.
Okay.
Yes, and in Estonia we have exactly the same policy that every child must study in their close to their home in regular kindergarten. Nobody is separated to some other institutions. That's not okay.
Estonia, we have also smaller groups for them.
In Poland, we also have groups called integrated groups. For example, in private preschools, and this is the number of children. It's about 15 children or 19 in special kindergartens. We have got, for example, 5 or 8 children. It depends on their disabilities. Autistic children are divided to groups, for example, 3 or 4 children. And in general preschools, they've got a support. So support, I mean, a teacher.
Okay. We got the same structure in Italy, especially when we got children with, how can I say, some kind of disabilities. I have worked in a kindergarten because I am an English teacher. And I remember that in the class, there were 2 different children with different disabilities. One of them was autistic, and another one has got a physical disability. And I remember that they were into the group for some activities, like some kind of games, whatever. But they stay also with the group, although sometimes they didn't want to do the same activity as the other. But it was not a part of feel them outside, but giving them the opportunity to join when they felt they wanted.
We've got the special place in the classroom for children who need to take a rest, for example, autistic children. They don't like loud.
Yes, they don't like noisy.
Yeah, noise. Yes.
Yeah.
Like this little quiet place.
Yes.
So what is our what Susanna said, we have to develop our common understanding what is the inclusion is. What we gonna say later?
Maybe integration with healthy children. That they can learn together, not separately.
I agree.
I agree.
Together and also from each other, because other kids supports them too.
Yes.
Yes, and very good idea from Helena. She's writing to the chat. Yes, that everybody feels welcomed, not leaving anyone out. Very good point. And I don't know if Susanna wants us to tell our definition or not, but if she wants that we have to tell, then who is going to tell from our group?
You.
No, I don't want to. I think Renata or Anna Maria.
My English is poor.
I wrote something like that. I don't know if you agree or not. For me, inclusion is let kids feel safe in an environment where they can be themselves, growing up, learning with peers, and improving their skills.
That sounds very good.
Mergi, Marin. Gata, mergi.
We are back.
Okay, so I see everyone returning to the main room. So let me share again the screen. So your task was to write down a definition of what inclusion is. Okay, so I see that some people wrote in the chat, but actually I cannot see it anymore because I think it was the breakout rooms chats. So I ask, like, if someone is brave enough to break the ice and read the definition that you wrote as a group of what inclusion is.
Okay, may I? We
Yes,
are
of
breakout room number 8, and for us, we should be certain or sure that all people are valued and respected, no matter their race, gender, age, disability, religion, or sexual orientation.
Very good. Perfect. Thank you very much. That's a very good definition. I want to hear from another breakout room.
Hello.
Hello. I see you now. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know which group I was in, but
No worries.
what you can say based on our group.
Seven group.
Okay.
7th group. Okay. A 7th group. So what we have discussed actually is just the issue of inclusion is just the creation of a conducive environment that will empower or reach every students, particularly in our education level, our education system. We have to reach each and every students when it is within the classroom activities or the activities which are conducted outside the classroom.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Anna Maria, you want to read your definition?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we were discussing about inclusion, and we decided to write that kids feel okay. We have to, because we are teacher, let kids feel safe in an environment where they can be themselves, growing up, learning with peers, and improving their skills.
Okay, very good. So, very good definitions. I wanted to hear some examples. When we talk about inclusion, we have to keep in mind Article 27 of the UN Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. This article recognizes the right to an inclusive education as a human right of people with disability. So this article makes it very clear that inclusive education is not exclusion, segregation, or integration. So let's see a bit the differences between these three concepts. So exclusion happens when students are directly or indirectly prevented from or denied access to education in any form. So it means basically the denial of access to any education. Next, we have segregation. So segregation occurs when the education of students with disabilities is provided in a separate environment it's in a situation, let's say, of isolation for students with disabilities. Okay, so it's the education of students in a separate environment, of students with disability in a separate environment. For example, separate special schools or special units and classrooms in mainstream schools. So it's a situation of isolation from students without disability. Next, we have integration. So placing persons with disabilities in existing mainstream education institutions as long as they can adjust to the standardized requirements of such institutions. Okay, so basically it's the education of students with disability in mainstream classroom just as long as they adjust to the pre-existing and standardized requirements of the classroom. Okay, so sorry, I see that there is still people that want to join. Okay, now that we know the difference of these three concepts, what is inclusion? Okay, so inclusion is a process of systemic reform, embodying changes and modifications in content, in teaching methods, in approaches, structures, and strategies, in education, so that we can overcome barriers with a vision serving to provide all students of the relevant age range with an equitable and participatory learning experience and environment that best corresponds to the requirements and preferences. Okay, so what does it mean? Basically, it's a process of reform to overcome barriers. So In this case, it's the system that adapts and changes, not the student that has to adapt to the system, as in the case of integration. Okay, so this is a very important like concept to understand when it comes to inclusive education. So this last thing I said, that it's not the it is the system that adapts and changes and not the student, is especially important, because implementing the right to education involves providing learners with equal learning opportunities. So inclusive education may be seen as a process that takes into account social, cultural, and learning diversities, and builds on factors that help to identify and remove barriers to learning and participation in education. Okay, so the concept of inclusion also fits perfectly in the European Pillar of Social Rights, which is a set of 20 principles adopted by the European Union to promote fairness and improve living and working conditions across Europe. It focuses on equal opportunities, on fair working conditions, and on social protections as well for everyone. And these principles, they guide EU policy and support member states in building more inclusive and competitive societies where no one else is left behind. Okay, so one of the key principles, the first principle actually of the European Pillar of Social Rights, actually underlines that everyone has the right to quality and inclusive education, training, and lifelong learning in order to maintain and acquire skills that enable them to participate fully in society and manage successfully transitions in the labor market. Okay, so sorry, people keep requesting access to the training, and I'm very happy about it. So let's say the definition that I want to show you about what is inclusion is the following. So inclusive education is when all students, regardless of any challenges that they may have, are placed in age-appropriate general educational classes that are in their own neighborhood schools to receive high-quality instruction, interventions, and support that enable them to meet success in the core curriculum. Okay, so basically the aim of inclusive education is to respond to the learning needs of all children, whatever these needs are. So physical, cognitive, academic, social, emotional, and so on. I would also like to compare two more concepts that are useful for this training and essential also for this project. The first one is the concept of accessibility. So accessibility refers to providing the systems and solutions to optimize access in content, methods, and environment. When it comes to education, it means designing learning experiences without barriers that allow all students to achieve the main pedagogical objectives. Okay, so accessibility is making sure that all the obstacles and barriers that might happen, that we manage to get rid of them so that everyone can participate fully. Okay, so the concept of full participation is rooted in accessibility. And then again, I want to compare it with the concept of inclusion again. So according to UNESCO, inclusion is a mindset that involves valuing the presence, the participation, and achievement of all learners, regardless of their context and personal characteristics, and recognizing the benefits of student diversity. So another concept that is important to understand is, of course, special educational needs. Okay, so special education is an umbrella term that is used to describe a specially designed instruction that meets the unique needs of a child with learning difficulties, emotional or behavioral problems, development disorders, physical disorders, or sensory disabilities, for example. So in special education, there is a wide range of disability levels that we have to consider, and some of them can be quite tricky to recognize and to support. Moreover, special education includes not only the individuals with learning disabilities, but also students that are gifted or talented. Okay, so to get a sense of the span of special educational needs that you might come across in your teaching, you have to consider the various types of special needs. So some of the cases that you might meet in your classroom are, for example, epilepsy or blindness, visual impairments, deafness and limited hearing, ADHD, Down syndrome, bipolar disorder, dyslexia, autism spectrum, and so on. So the list is very, very long, okay, and very vary. So according to the OECD, so the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, almost 20% of students may develop a special educational need during their schooling years. Early identification and intervention together with personalized learning play a huge role in the student's learning journey. So we need to keep in mind, let's say, these 4 steps. So early identification, intervention, awareness, and then flexible and personalized learning. Okay, so it's essential to recognize special characteristics at their earlier stages and continually try to increase the support provided. But also the awareness towards the topic. Okay, so these are essential elements of inclusive education. So before we move on to the second section, I'm gonna let more people in. Okay. So welcome to the people that just arrived. We were just talking about the concept of inclusion. We talked about the definition of inclusion and some of the main terms that we need to know. And now we are gonna talk about why inclusion is so important in education. Okay. So inclusion in preschool education is more than physical proximity. Okay, so it's about active participation, it's about engagement and the creation. Oh, sorry, I keep admitting people, so I'm gonna have to interrupt myself from time to time. I'm sorry. So as I was saying, it's about the creation of learning environments where all children, regardless of their ability, are respected and supported. So early childhood is a critical period for learning foundational skills. Research shows that when young children with disabilities are included in high quality early educational settings, they make significant development gains, not only socially and emotionally, but cognitively as well. So at the same time, their typically developing peers also benefit from the exposure to a wide range of abilities, of learning styles and experiences. So this fosters an environment of respect, of acceptance and adaptability. Inclusion early in life actually helps them shape a more equitable future. Sorry, I have to admit more people again. Okay. So before we move on, since we also have some new people, I would like to take a moment to do another sharing activity. Okay, so I would like you to take a moment to bring this topic that we were talking about into your lived experience. Okay. So think back to a time where you witnessed, or maybe you were part of an inclusive classroom or an inclusive learning experience. What stands out in this type of memory? Okay. So maybe it was a moment when a child with a disability was empowered to participate meaningfully in an activity, or maybe you observed how other children adapted and collaborated to include a peer with different needs. So these moments offer powerful evidence of how inclusion works in practice. Okay. So what I would like to do is to divide you again in breakout rooms and to share your story. And I want you to share your story with the group, okay? So as we discuss, consider all the emotional, social, and developmental outcomes that you observed and how they reflect the core values of inclusion, okay? So there are 2 questions, let's say guiding questions, that you can use for your discussions. So first, you think about your story, okay? You think about your experience in inclusive education. And then I want you to answer to these 2 questions. What benefits did you observe for the children involved? And how did inclusion shape the classroom climate? Okay. So I advise you to take your phone and take a picture of this slide, okay? Because in the breakout rooms, you don't have access to this slide. So it's easier if you have a picture so that you can come back to it, okay? So I'm gonna set the breakout rooms, and in the meantime, I ask you if you have any doubts on this activity. Okay, I don't think there are any doubts. So I am going to start the breakout rooms, okay? So I
Can
will...
can you show us the slide, please? Again?
This is the slide. Can you see it?
No, I can see it.
I am presenting this slide, so I don't know. Is it a problem that everyone has?
Now we see.
Okay. So I advise you take a picture of this slide, okay? So you have it in the breakout room as well. So I'm gonna open the rooms. You have 15 minutes to discuss, okay? And then you're gonna come automatically back to the main room, okay? So you don't have to do anything. After 15 minutes, you will come back, okay? So I will see you in 15 minutes.
So maybe I will start because everyone is so quiet. I think the main thing was that children that were included were able to receive the best opportunities that they had. And when talking about shaping the environment, all the, I don't know, is it okay to say normal children, but everyone else had a chance to see that there are different people and we have to consider different things so everyone would feel good in the environment.
Hi. I didn't understand the task, what we have to talk about it.
We have to talk about our experience with children with some difficulties or who need inclusion.
We had two questions. What benefits did you observe for the children involved, and how did inclusion shape the classroom climate?
Can you repeat?
One moment. What benefits did you observe for the children involved, and how did the inclusion shape the classroom climate?
The biggest benefit is, in my opinion, that the other will notice differences for the others and will learn to accept.
To tolerate the difficulties, I think, in my experience. At first, the children with the difficulties were kept at distance. Sorry for my English, is not very good. But in short time, the other children, let's say the normal children, were able to accept them, tolerate their difficulties and support them to perform.
And the children with disabilities will feel that they are part of the group. And the other will help them as well to develop their skills.
Hello, how is it going in this group?
It's okay. Hello.
Hello. So did you have time to discuss? You still have 7 minutes.
Yes, we talk about several ideas.
Okay. Okay, then later you can present it in plenary, okay? I'm just moving from room to room to check out how it's going, okay?
Okay.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hello.
In my opinion, the school, my school, is the perfect place to educate all children in its community by using effective means to combat discriminatory attitude and to create a welcoming community in which an education for all the children. I work with these children with disability, and later at school, I am a teacher of kindergarten. Later at school, these children are included on community, other child.
Camille, and your kids have a shadow? Do they have it?
Yes.
Okay. And how they help the kids?
A shadow at homework.
The
Homework
therapist?
to do at in a classroom.
Okay, so the therapist came to the class and stayed there.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Though I'm a shadow, so how I'm doing in general, when I see my kid that it's confronting with some difficulty, let's say yesterday I had a sport class.
Okay.
And the kid didn't want it, how to say, the other to scream,
Okay.
let's go, do it, at the name of the kid. So I asked them really nice to keep the quiet, to be quiet for the her, to be courage, no?
Yes.
I'm sorry for my language, for my English.
My English is.
So this is like to explain to the other kids the needs of your kid that you are working.
I understand. To repeat.
What?
Yes. One and this year I have 3 children with disability in my classroom.
Okay.
Autism.
Yeah.
3 children with autism. 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
How they are included to the class?
It's very difficult for me, but together cum să spun, logoped who learn to talk, teacher who learn to talk the child, and the shadow trying the effort for these children.
I have another suggestion. If it is someone who don't know Romanian, can we talk in Romanian? It's easier, and after that we can just talk in English. I think we are more Romanian here than.
Yes, I have the same experience that they will learn English quicker than their own language. Example. Children with autism.
Yes. Or one language.
Okay, so welcome back. So to, let's say, summarize a bit the task that you had in the breakout room was to share a bit your story. So think about a moment where you witnessed or where you were a part of an inclusive classroom, and think about what benefits did you observe for the children involved, and how did inclusion shape the classroom climate? Okay. So I would like to some people that want to share maybe their story. It doesn't matter even if you were in the same breakout room. I just want to hear some examples. So who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, thank you, Omari.
Thank you, Susanna.
I'm Isabel, sorry. I stole the account of Susanna so that I could change the breakout rooms, but I am Isabel.
Elizabeth.
Isabel, yes.
Isabella.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, my experience in my class, I'm teaching student teacher. As I have said, those students who are going to teach in primary school, the teachers. In my class, I'm teaching curriculum and CT, curriculum and teaching. So I have one of my students who have got a problem actually when speaking. You cannot hear it well, just not stable in speaking. So he is a good student, a talented one, doing well, perform well in the class. But when want to deliver something, you cannot hear it well. So at first, his fellow was just some kind of laughing when just want to speak. It seemed like something laughing. So I tried to find a way on how we can make the classroom very friendly and very inclusive. So I try when the student want to speak, I come aside to him, just listening. What real want to speak? I just hear. Then after that, I can send the message to the student. Just wow, that's good. So if they see that this is a good message, they hear it, and this student feel that he is respected, and all his fellow students feel feel like that they are all together. So no one is left behind. So that's why my takeaway in my class when I'm teaching, just what I have noticed is that including your students, whether without regarding the ability, disability or non-disability, it is very important in every aspect when you are delivering the message in the classroom. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. We
Thank
have Alia that wants to share also.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I will not put my camera on because I'm a
No
little
problem.
sick. But yes, I would like to share about the moment from my classroom. I used to teach a toddlers group, so it's around 3 to 4-year-old students. And one of the students had a hearing aid, so she couldn't hear very well. So she had in her ear special device to be able to hear. And the teachers had a special microphone that we had wearing around our neck, so that whenever we had morning circles or evening circles, we could speak to the microphone and she could hear. Sometimes, and this inclusion topic we have been covering throughout the year very often with the kids, so all of the kids knew what other students had and what kind of special needs they had. So they were aware of this girl, of course, and they saw also these hearing aids. And so they knew whenever they talked to her, they needed to be louder. And if they're standing too far from her, they should not speak. They should come close to her, first of all, tap her on the shoulder, and then speak. And they all knew how to behave around her. So they did that. And even sometimes when we had those circles, we would forget, teachers would forget to put the microphone, sometimes we just forget. And the students themselves, they would say, teacher, like, you forgot to put on the microphone. This girl will not hear if you don't, so please put on. So it was nice. We had even our helpers to remind us to do our job nicely.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much, Alia. I would like to hear one more story before we move on with the theory. Does someone else want to share? Anna Maria.
Okay. My experience is about more primary school. And once I was a special teacher only for English. And in one of the class, I got a boy that got the autistic syndrome. And I remember that when we were working together, there was an amazing silence because nobody could talk because it get crazy. So everyone was working in a proper way. But when the activity was finished and we went to do something different, and the boy went out with his special teacher to do another activity, they became crazy, totally crazy, because I remember that they were obliged to be quiet all the time. And so, in my opinion, the situation was not the best because they understood that the boy had got this particularity, but they couldn't be free to do to express themselves. So when we got this kind of activity like playing whatever, they were very happy to enjoy themselves. But that doesn't mean that they don't love their mate. They did a lot of amazing project with him, but I know that sometimes it's very difficult to keep all together and doing the same thing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna Maria. I will read also a comment in the chat that Ramona wrote. So the children with special needs in my class were constantly encouraged by the other kids, invited to play together. Now that's really nice. That's a really good example of inclusion in the classroom. So thank you for sharing your stories. We can move on with the rest of the slides. So as I was saying, this is something that I already mentioned. Inclusion is rooted in international human rights law. I already talked about Article 24 of the UN Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So this article guarantees the rights of persons with disabilities to inclusive education at all levels. So it emphasizes that children with disabilities must not be excluded from the general educational system. on the basis of disability, and they must have access to inclusive, quality, and free primary and secondary education on an equal basis with others. So this article calls for educational settings that provide reasonable accommodation, support services, and personalized learning strategies to ensure full participation. So we see here again the concept of full participation and also the importance of accessibility, which is something that we already talked about earlier. So we talked about getting rid of all the barriers and limitations that can impact the educational experience. So we also mentioned this previously, but this is a very important thing about inclusive education, is the fact that it benefits all learners, okay? So not just those with disabilities. Sorry, I have to admit one more person again. So sorry, let me go back to the slides. So teachers in inclusive settings, they often use the UDL principles, so Universal Design for Learning, offering multiple ways of presenting information and engaging students. I'm not going to talk about UDL more in detail because I don't want to spoil part of Module 3, so you will hear about it later on in the course more in detail. Basically, what we have to know is that these strategies, they help children access the curriculum in ways that suit their individual learning styles. In fact, the research shows that inclusive settings promote higher levels of student engagement, better academic outcomes, and a more collaborative classroom culture. So inclusion encourages educators to continuously reflect, adapt, and innovate, making the learning environment richer and more effective for every child. So we said that inclusive education benefits all learners. So let's examine in which ways. So first of all, inclusion builds social and cognitive skills. Preschoolers develop these skills through play, through conversation, and guided activities. In inclusive settings, children engage with peers who think, who communicate, and interact in different ways. So this naturally challenges them to listen more closely, to problem solve creatively, and to develop patience. Research shows that children in inclusive classrooms demonstrate a stronger language skills, better attention spans, and also more flexible thinking. So these cognitive skills are enhanced when children learn from peers who bring different experiences and different perspectives into daily learning. Secondly, it's also beneficial for social and emotional growth. So social emotional learning begins early in childhood and is deeply influenced by peer interactions. So inclusive classrooms provide real-life opportunities for children to practice empathy, cooperation, and self-regulation. When children are exposed to this wide range of behaviors and communication styles, they learn to support others and to resolve conflicts with compassion. So this experience benefits not only children with disabilities, but all children in the preschool, to form positive relationships and to safeguard also their mental well-being. So this will also have an impact in the future. Moreover, inclusion also has benefits in the development of empathic responses, because empathy is something that is not innate. It's something that has to be nurtured through experience. And the fact that preschool children in diverse settings have the opportunity to understand different perspectives rather than just their own, it's something that allows them to, let's say, plant the seeds of kindness and respect. So think about, for example, children learning sign language to communicate with a deaf peer, or celebrating a small success of a classmate that struggles with motor tasks, for example. So this also has an impact in the persons that they will become in the future, because they children that learn in inclusive environments, they tend to be more accepting and less likely to exhibit prejudice or discriminatory behavior later in life. So I would like also to show you this quote that I really like, which is from Verna Myers, that is an American author and CEO that is active in the field of inclusion. And she said, diversity is being invited to the party, while inclusion is being asked to dance. So we can say that children learn a great variety of skills when they are a part of a diverse classroom. This is because every classroom is a microcosm of the world. Okay, so it's filled with different cultures, languages, different abilities, and so on. So children's and teachers as well have the chance to actually learn from this great and rich variety. Teachers, of course, they manage to expand their pedagogical toolkit in order to meet various needs. And children also learn to value collaboration over competition. So it benefits not only children, but teachers as well. So in this dynamic learning community, everyone becomes both teachers and learner at the same time. And inclusion fosters resilience, adaptability, and global citizenship as well. So these qualities, they might begin in preschool, but they last a lifetime. So I would like to do, before we move on with this next section, a small break. Okay, so we will have a 10-minute break and we will meet again in 10 minutes. Okay, so at 5:30. Is it okay?
Thank
Perfect. You. Okay, see you in 10 minutes then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we are again. So in this next section, I would like to talk about different inclusive models in different countries, okay? So inclusive education looks different in different countries, so I would like to examine these differences. Before we start, I want to hear once again from you. This time I will not divide you in breakout rooms because I noticed that some people have connection problems to the breakout rooms. So I ask you instead to write in the chat, okay? So for this activity, I would like for you to think about these three areas. So the first one is teaching methods. So how do you differentiate teaching? How do you adapt to different learning needs? What teaching methods do you use? Then we have the second area, which is students. So who are your students? What kind of disabilities and special needs do you have in your school? What are the main issues in the classroom? And third, we have parents and community. So how do you involve the community in your teaching? How do you communicate your goals to parents? So I will give you 10 minutes to write down in the chat what is valid for you in these three areas, okay? And then I will read some. So I see that Carla raised her hand. Do you have any questions? Maybe it was a mistake. No problem, Carla. Okay, I give you a couple more minutes, okay? And then I will read some of the replies. Okay, so I will start reading some of the replies. So Omari, regarding teaching methods, said that the kind of teaching depends on the types of students you have, thus the learner needs determine the type of teaching. Okay. Michaela Teodora said, I usually teach new words and structures with the help of visuals, videos, and drawings. Then we have Katrin that said, inclusion for me means accommodating to everyone's needs. In my classroom, I have had kids with ADHD, and some with autistic tendencies. We have found that a lot of the problems come from the fact that the whole class is much too big for some kids. They don't cope well with all the stimuli. So in our preschool, we divide the kids into 2 smaller groups. That helps to calm the atmosphere. The children are more productive and calmer. The teacher manages to reach every student. Omari again says, as it is known, we have participatory and partial participatory methods. One of the most profound points is to make your students as a center of learning, make them participate and engage in different activities. Carasella said, differentiating content learning stations where children rotate to access the same core content through different methods. Aliana, I have a student in my class with motor problems. He is helped by other classmates in various activities. The only situation in which they leave him aside is when they have to form teams for speed games, motor skills, etc. Okay. Renata, there are special adjustments, for example, for blind children, for visually impaired, for children with aphasia, braille system, braille stick, and spatial orientation methods. Ramona, I adapt activities to each child's level. I use visual games, clear routines, and short tasks. For ADHD children, I include movement and frequent breaks. For ASD children, visual support and simple rules. I encourage positive behavior with praise. Carla, I only work in a room with children with autism. The other children are very kind with my children. Doruta, my students are 3-year-old children. Currently, I work in a kindergarten in Romania. I often involve parents in the teaching activities so that they understand the level of development that children have at this age, and then develop skills to work effectively with their child. Very good. Alia, all the tasks should be differentiated according to the needs. For example, kids with autism must have a visual explanation on how to complete the task or have the task broken down into smaller steps. The main issue in the classes with kids with special needs is the absence or not enough special pedagogues who can work with them in their learning, especially when the class is big and the teacher just doesn't have enough time, okay? Eugenia, first, to differentiate teaching, I need to know the child. I work with autistic children and each one needs different adaptations. Normally, parents are a good help to understand the children and we usually come together to talk. Aura, in kindergarten, we work in centers to be able to group children according to the tasks they have. My children are between 3 and 6, and among them, there are children with autism and hyperactivity, language or behavioral disorders. We enter into various partnerships with the local community to carry out joint activities. Then we have Anna Maria. My teaching is adapting when I'm giving a task to the students. With the ones that struggle with Italian language, I reduce the length of the text. The questions are simple with true or false answers, and sometimes they work with me to feel more comfortable. Christine, different levels of activities using visuals. Some tasks are in smaller groups, routines, examples, rules. Different age kindergarten children and different special needs. Some of them need more individual support. Some need headphones to low the noise down. Talking and cooperating with parents is very important to have the greatest succeed. Home and kindergarten have to have the same goals. True. Doruta, the activity must be adapted according to the particularities of children, regardless of deficiencies, to have equal chances of development. Alia, again, regarding communications with parents, depends on how open they are. If they're willing to cooperate, the communication is transparent and straightforward. But if the parents are not willing to accept the reality about their kid, might having a special need, there can be no open communication. Renata, main issue for blind people is how to organize the space for them. It must be safe and available for use. Tactile aids, braille, machine, and other materials which develop their all senses. Omari, I have different students with different characteristics, including faster learners, slow learners, as well as moderate learner, but also hearing impaired students. With this, I used to make sure that my class is very well organized and manage to ensure each student meets their goals, but also to ensure that all planning, including documents such as lesson plans and scheme of works, are adequately, effectively prepared, without forget well-prepared teaching and learning aids resources. I'm just gonna read a few from the bottom to see if we have more parts about parents and community. Let's see. Parents are welcome to meet our team to get explanation about our works and to know more about their everyday life. Okay, so thank you for everyone that wrote in the chat. I'm sorry, we don't have time to read everyone, but it will stay in the chat. So all the other participants are welcome to read all the contributions, okay? So as I was saying, I would like to talk a bit about the inclusive models of Europe. So inclusive education in Europe is implemented in different ways depending on the country. So some countries, they follow a unidirectional approach where all students, including those with disabilities, attend mainstream schools. This is the model, for example, that we have in Italy as well. Other countries adopt a bidirectional approach, so where students with disabilities are often educated separately in special schools or specialized classrooms. And finally, we also have many countries that follow a multi-directional approach, which offers a variety of options in both mainstream and specialized pathways, giving families the freedom to choose the most suitable learning environment for their child. So the unidirectional approach to inclusive education is based on the idea that all students belong in mainstream classrooms, regardless of their abilities or disabilities. So in this model, there are no separate special schools or special classes. The learners with visible or hidden disability study alongside their peers in the same educational environment. They spend most of their time in the regular classrooms. They participate in the same activities as the other students, with support, of course, when needed. So the goal is to promote equal opportunities, full participation, and a sense of belonging for every student. So in these statistics, we see how many students are for at least 80% in the mainstream education. For example, if we look at Italy, which is the country I'm from, we can see that it's 99.99% of the students is in mainstream education. So we see the use of the unidirectional approach, meaning that everyone is in the mainstream school, people with disabilities included, okay? One thing that is important to stress is that placement is not necessarily inclusion, because maybe everyone is in the mainstream education, but there is no personalized support, or there is a lack of personalized approaches. Here, for example, we see the percentage of how many students are in special classes within mainstream education. For example, here, Iceland is coherent with the data that we saw earlier. So here it was 86% in mainstream education, but of that 86%, 13% is in special classes. Here, instead, we have the percentage of students that is in special schools, so not a unidirectional approach. What I would like to know from you is a bit reflect on what do you think are the pros and cons of special needs schools? Okay, so you can raise your hand and intervene, either if you are for pros or for cons, or if you want to give contributions to both. I am curious to know your opinion on this. So what do you think are the pros and cons of special needs schools?
Yes.
Yes, Omari?
Thank you, Isabella.
Thank you.
In Tanzania, for example, myself, I'm from teachers' colleges. In teachers' college, we have special needs colleges, which train the teachers who are going to teach these students with the disabilities. So to me, what I see, one of the pros I can see having these special colleges is to make these teachers to be actually confidence on what they are acquiring based on special needs teaching students. So to me, what I can say there, though sometimes we need them to be interactive with the other teachers who are maybe trained particularly to teach normal students. But being in the special, actually they are actually obtaining or acquiring the special requirements for students who are who have got or who are disabled. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then we have Carla and later Eugenia Maria. We have a queue of people. So Carla, it's your turn. Or maybe it was your hand was up from earlier, I think. Maybe yes. We can go with Eugenia Maria.
Hello.
Hello.
I just have cons in respect of special needs schools, because when they are separated, children in general don't have the opportunity to know and interact with all range of human diversity.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Then we have Anna Maria.
In my opinion, the pros could be that the teacher and the programs are tailored, especially for their needs, so they can get better, or maybe they can grow up in a different way. But the cons is that they can't share anything with peers, and so they haven't got any possibility to be, how can I say, in a proper and normal social context that could give them the possibility to grow up and also to work in the future.
Okay, thank you. Then we have Alia.
Yes, I agree with your cons. I think, obviously, if a kid is in a special needs school, he will not be able to see or cooperate, as you say, with other kids, with his peers. However, to be realistic, if we talk about kids with very, very severe special needs, I feel like there's no other way but to educate them in special needs school, because if we are realistic, we cannot put them in normal schools. We are not a single school is adapted, is able to cater to this kid. So he will just waste his time and not learn even basic skills, whereas in special needs schools, at least he will learn some basic skills, like maybe cooking, like cutting, or like, you know, this kind of reading a little bit. So at least yeah, in that case it's a pro.
Okay, thank you. Eugenia, I think you raised your hand again, or it's from earlier?
It's again.
Okay.
It's just because we are always talking about the children with special needs, but the all in school have benefits for the other children too. The other one that have no special needs.
Yeah.
To build more just society, more empathic society, we have to be together.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I see some people also wrote in the chat. Ele wrote, cons, special needs school may be far from home. Also true, something to consider. And Katuna wrote, in Georgia, one of the key areas of the National Early Childhood Education Standard is parental involvement. We believe that, sorry, this was from earlier, from the other activity regarding the involvement of parents as well. Omari, you raised your hand again.
Yes, I raised the hand again. Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I was just looking about the inclusive school, but also a special needs school. So I was just thinking, what is the actually the best, the more best between the two, inclusive school or the special needs? Or this will
Sorry, what
depend.
is the?
What is more preferable between special school, special needs school, and the inclusive school?
You mean as a term?
Yeah, as a term, and also as if it is a school with special needs and the school which is considering inclusivity.
So which one is preferable?
Yeah.
So I guess like this is the reason why we were talking about pros and cons, is that different countries have different approaches. I think Aliyah also highlighted very well that we shouldn't like demonize one or the other, because like the severity of disability varies. So I don't think there is a like right answer, okay, but it really depends on the child. As we can see here, there are pros and cons to both approaches, okay. So some of the pros of special needs schools could be that they are designed specifically to support children with disabilities. So they offer tailored programs, therapeutic support, and highly trained staff. They have classes that are smaller in size, so they allow for a more individualized attention. Often with specialized tools, quiet environments, and sensory accommodation that may be difficult. To implement in mainstream classrooms. So I think this is what Aliyah was also saying. Like in some cases, we have also to be realistic and take into consideration what really benefits the child. For some children, for example, with complex or intensive needs, these settings can provide safety, structure, and predictability that is essential for progress. Some of the cons that we can find is that despite their benefits, specialized schools, they can unintentionally reinforce segregation. So when children with disabilities are educated apart from their peers, they often miss out on vital social interactions and the opportunity to build real-world relationship skills. So this separation can perpetuate stigmas and limit the preparation for inclusive community life. Also, if we think about it long term, it can also reduce expectations and restrict access to the broader curriculum or society participation. So I think that, as I was saying, there is no like right answer that is tailored universally. Okay, so every child has different needs. It depends on the type of disability, on the severity of the disability, on the availability also of a special needs school nearby, and also on the, let's say, model that the government provides. Okay, so because I work for an Italian organization, I would also like to present the Italian model for 3 reasons. For example, as we saw also in the statistics earlier, 99.99% of learners with disability attends mainstream schools. Only 0.01 pupils with disability attend rehabilitation centers that are financed by the local health services, and almost none of the pupils attend special schools. Okay, so the Italy's educational system promotes inclusion as a constitutional right, integrating children with disabilities into mainstream schools from early childhood onwards. Italy stands out with its inclusion rate of 99.99%, which is a global benchmark, thanks to a national framework that values equity, accessibility, and shared responsibility. The Italian system is structured into 3 cycles. So we have 0 to 6, 6 to 14, and 14 till 19 years old. Inclusion starts from the earliest levels through coordinated public and private nursery and preschool services. So in this graphic, you can see the Italian educational system. So we start at 0 years old until university. Above, you can see the age, and you can see that some years are marked in red. So the red dots are the mandatory school. So mandatory school in Italy is from 6 until 16 years old. And this is one of the main points, since as you can see, preschool is not mandatory in Italy. So it's up to every parent, even though it's more common, let's say, to attend preschool than not. Okay. Another interesting fact is also that you can stop at 16 without obtaining the high school diploma. Okay, so it's not mandatory to finish high school. We will, of course, focus on the first part, so 0 to 6. In Italy, early school education is divided in 2. We have kindergarten from 0 to 3, which is called asilo nido. And then we have preschool from 3. So a bit of legal foundation about this. In 1977, Italy abolished special schools through Law 517, pioneering full integration in mainstream classrooms. So this legal shift was revolutionary because it transformed special education into a shared educational goal. So not something that happens only in certain institutions, but something that is shared across all educational settings. In 1992, Law 104 laid the groundwork for individualized support, access to resources, and legal protection for people with disabilities. So these laws ensured students' right to inclusive education and active participation. And lastly, in 2010, a new law was created, Law 170, that recognized dyslexia, dysgraphia, dysorthographia, very difficult to read in English, and dyscalculia as specific learning disorders. In Italy, we have both support teachers and educators that can be both present in the classroom, but they have different roles. So support teachers, called insegnanti di sostegno, they are co-equal partners in inclusive classrooms. So they co-teach with regular teachers, they contribute to lesson planning, they support the learning of all students, so not only students with disabilities. To qualify as support teachers, they have to complete an intensive training program, with pedagogical and psychological components. Some of the ways that support teachers and teachers can, let's say, co-teach is, for example, as you can see in the image, one teaches and the other one observes, or they can create different stations. So they walk around different stations in the classroom. We have parallel teaching, so they're teaching the same thing, but they are dividing the classrooms in two. We have alternative teaching, so they are explaining the same things, but either in different ways. Okay, so you can see from the way the desks are shown in the image. So one person is having a frontal lesson, the other one is having more of a study group. So basically they're explaining the same things, but either in different ways or at different levels. Then we have teaming, so they are explaining the lesson together, or one teaches and one assists. On the other hand, we also have educators that provide assistance for students with complex social or medical needs, and they are employed by local authorities or by external agencies. Another cornerstone of the Italian inclusion system is the PEI, Piano Educativo Individualizzato, okay, so Educational Individualized Plan. So it's designed for students with disabilities, and it's developed by a multidisciplinary team called GO that includes teachers, families, specialists, and educators. So the PEI sets out learning goals and strategies across 4 key dimensions. We have socialization and interaction, communication and language, autonomy and orientation, cognition and learning. So each plan, again, only for students with disabilities, is personalized, it's reviewed regularly, and it ensures alignment with the students' needs and the classroom dynamics. So the PEI doesn't necessarily need to have the same objectives as the rest of the classroom, okay? But they make sure that it is coherent and it fits with the classroom dynamics nonetheless, okay? We also have another type of didactic plan, which is a personalized didactic plan, PDP, that is for students with specific learning disorders like dyslexia or dyscalculia. So this is another instrument, let's say, of support. The students remain in the mainstream classes. They are taught with regular teachers using differentiated methods. So the PDP includes also compensatory tools like text-to-speech softwares, voice recorders, and so on, and also dispensatory measures, so having extended time or alternative assessments. This is different from the PEI, okay? This was for students with disabilities, and it can have different objectives compared to the rest of the classroom. In the PDP for students with DSA, the objectives are the same as the rest of the classroom, okay? So they only have dispensatory and compensatory tools, okay? As for the, let's say, inclusion strategy, in Italy, it's systematized through 3 working groups. We have the GLI, so School Inclusion Group, that oversees the school-wide inclusion and proposes the annual plan. So the PAI, which is the Piano Annuale per l'Inclusione, so annual inclusion plan. Then we have the GO, which is a multidisciplinary team that meets regularly to create and update each student's PEI. Okay, so the personalized plan for students with disabilities. And lastly, we have the GIT, which is a territorial group. It allocates the support teachers and the resources at the regional level. Okay, so these bodies, they ensure that inclusion isn't left to individual teachers' discretion. So it's not something that is responsibility of one person, okay, but it's something that is planned, that is monitored, and that is supported systematically. As for the PAI, something that I already mentioned, so Piano Annuale per l'Inclusione, Inclusion Annual Plan. It's something that each school must produce. It's an annual report on the school's inclusive practices, goals, and needs. The GLI teams leads this process. They assess the school performance. They identify gaps. They propose strategies for inclusion where needed. And it's something that is submitted to the regional education office annually, and ensures accountability and growth. Okay, so as you can see, it's a systematic approach. Some of the reflections that we can do on the Italian model is that it proves in a certain way that national inclusion is possible, but what is needed is a strong legal backing, a collaborative planning, and systemic accountability, which is done by the annual plan for inclusion. The strengths include a near total inclusion in public schools, a structured collaboration among different, let's say, work groups, and the pedagogical co-responsibility between teachers. So again, the responsibility is never of one person, but it's shared. However, of course, there are still challenges when it comes to inclusion in Italian schools. First of all, there is uneven training and uneven resources across regions. So it is not as the quality, let's say, is not as standardized as we would like it to be. There is, of course, a heavy workload for support teachers. And of course, there is a need for ongoing professional development, because since it is a shared responsibility, all teachers need to be up to date. Okay. So to move on from the Italian model, I would like to also talk about challenges at home and in the classroom. So inclusion is, of course, a powerful principle, but the day-to-day implementation, of course, has real challenges for educators and for families. In the classrooms, the teachers have to simultaneously manage wide differences in learning styles, in behavior, in language, in the development level. So this can be overwhelming, especially if the support is limited. Families also might struggle with fear, with uncertainty, with frustration, especially if they have if they have encountered inconsistent support or lack of understanding in the past. We also have to take into account cultural differences and differing expectations about disability. And this can also complicate home and school communication. So some of you also talked about in the chat when we were talking about communication with parents. So for inclusion to work, strong relationships and mutual trust between school and families are essential. So they're not optional. I would like you to think. I'm not going to divide you into groups because I'm afraid we will not manage to finish everything we have to say. So maybe I will give you 5 minutes to think about it, and then I will collect some contributions as we did earlier. So I would like you to take a few minutes to reflect honestly. What makes inclusive education hard for you as a teacher or as a school leader? What challenges do you face when collaborating with families? And what barriers do you think families experience when navigating school inclusion? So I give you 5 minutes to think about it, and then we can do as we did earlier. So you can raise your hand and you can intervene, okay? Okay, we have Omari who has raised his hand.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I think based on these three questions, what makes inclusive education hard for me as a teacher or school leader? Actually, to me, some of the issues that makes me the inclusive education to be hard, it is based on resources. If you don't have resources necessary for learning, actually, it's be difficult for you to achieve your goals. But also, if the environment is not conducive enough to to meet the needs of the learner, actually, it's difficult for you to reach the learning goals. In another parts of the challenges, particularly when you collaborate with families. Take an example. In Tanzania, we have, for example, the students who are in primary school, maybe it is very difficult for students, for families or parents themselves to take their students who are disabled to school directly. So they some kind of stereotype. So they don't believe on education. They believe that when you take such kind of student to school, it's like shameless, shame to them. So they tend like they pretend they do like that. So it's very difficult. So what is required? We do educate them to see the importance of educating such kind of student. So they are now taking their students to school so as to get education. But another, the barriers, I think, do families experience when navigating to school inclusion? That's they lack education, the importance of taking their students to school. So what is important is to promote, to create education, educating them about the importance of education to their students. That's what I can share to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
We have also Anna Maria who raised her hand.
Okay, so I got different experiences in my career. And the main point for me is to find enough time to give each student the proper support. Sometimes I struggle to get enough time to give everyone the support that they need because we haven't got enough, how can I say, enough resources. And the other point is that I got family really aware of the differences of the children, and they want to do whatever they can, or other that they want to ignore the problem because they are scared to feel different. But in reality, they are different. So the problem is just to accept and to work with these differences.
Okay. Thank you, Anna Maria. I was reading also in the chat, Ele wrote, the inclusive education is hard as a teacher because of the lack of time to reach every child. Some of the challenges with families that parents think that children will just grow out of their behavioral special needs, and they are also afraid. I saw also that Eugenia raised her hand again. Yeah.
I was writing in the chat.
No worries. You can speak.
Here in Portugal, I think the biggest challenge are collaboration between professionals. I think we don't have a real culture of collaboration, and sometimes it feels like we are working alone and it's too hard. And the lack of specific resources to respond to the children needs, like therapies and sometimes space, specific space. These two.
Okay. Yeah, I see that some of the challenges are shared across countries. It's let's say these are common experiences. I see. So managing diverse learners means providing individualized support and also curricular flexibility. So teachers are expected to balance the standard outcomes with adaptations that meet the needs of every child. So this requires, of course, time, creativity, and also ongoing professional development. UDL, cooperative learning, and flexible assessment strategies can help. However, these have to be supported, of course, by a dedicated planning time, mentoring, and training opportunities. So as we were saying, sometimes lack of resources can be challenging in this sense. Resistance to inclusion is also something that some of you mentioned. Is often rooted in fear, in misinformation, or past negative experiences. So parents are of typically developing children. They might worry that their child's learning will be compromised if there are children with disabilities in the same classroom. School staff might feel unequipped to meet diverse needs or fear also burnout. Some families of students with disabilities, they might even resist inclusion because they might feel that the school environment is not truly prepared or supportive. So addressing this sort of resistance requires, of course, as a first step, listening. Okay, so clear communication, open dialogue, and also being able to show success stories. It's an effective strategy. It can be an effective strategy. So inclusion should be framed as something that is not a burden, but an opportunity for enriched learning and for also deeper community bonds. Another, let's say, thing to take into consideration is the logistical barriers to inclusion. So goodwill is not enough, of course. Again, we're talking about resources. But it needs functional and accessible environments. So many schools still face logistical obstacles, as Eugenia was saying, also the problems with space in schools. So, for example, some of the problems that schools might encounter is inaccessible buildings, so with too many stairs or narrow doorways or no ramps for wheelchairs. Also insufficient learning materials, for example, Braille books or visual aids. A problem, for example, that we face in Italy is outdated furniture and the classroom layout. There might also be limited access to assistive technology or adaptive tools. Okay, there are schools that they might have it, but not in every classroom. In addition, schools might also lack enough support staff to meet rising needs. So even small changes like adding, for example, a quiet space or so that where children can have sensory breaks. This can also be challenging. Even if it looks like a simple addition, there might be problems with budget or with structural flexibility. So inclusive education must be reflected not only in the lessons, but also in the physical and in the logistical design of school spaces. Another point is the professional figures that are supporting inclusion. So effective inclusion is teamwork. Okay, it has to be a shared responsibility. It cannot lie on the shoulders of one person only. So multiple professional figures can contribute with specialized expertise. So we can have support teachers that co-teach, that adapt materials, that provide ongoing assessment. We can have specialized educators that assist with daily functions and emotional regulation. We can have school psychologists that assess the needs and support the emotional well-being of all students. We can have social workers that help families navigate these support systems, advocate for rights, and ensure continuity between the school environment and the home environment. So also ensure that communication is effective. Each of these professionals brings, let's say, a piece of the puzzle. When they are aligned, they can create a coherent and responsive network of support. The role of coordinator and specialists is also essential, because inclusion doesn't work without coordination. So inclusion coordinators and pedagogical specialists, they play a strategic role in schools. They ensure that planning is consistent across classrooms. They help interpret evaluation reports and organize teacher trainings. They serve as the link between school leaders, classroom teachers, and external agencies. Their expertise also allows for tailored intervention plans, structures timelines, and accurate resource distribution. Sorry. Most importantly, they also help build a culture where inclusion is not something that is improvised in the classroom, but that is structured and that is intentional. Okay. Then we also have the multidisciplinary team, which is the GO in Italy, that ensures that inclusion is truly personalized. So it has classroom teachers, support teachers, educators, parents, also health and therapy professionals if needed. So together they can develop and they can update the personalized, individualized educational plan for the student. They can evaluate the progress, they align the goals with real world needs. So these teams, they are required to meet multiple times a year. Okay, so they have to take, let's say, a collective responsibility of the student success. So the power of the team lies in its diversity. Okay, so each member of the team sees the child from a different point of view, from a different lens, because we have the parents, we have the teachers, we have the educators. So it's a very, let's say, varied point of view. When it comes to improving outcomes for young children with and without disabilities in inclusive early childhood program, it's important also to have active family involvement. So parent involvement is related to parent actions and also teacher actions. So the immediate family environment serves as a bridge, of course, between the kid and the outside world. And it has the greatest direct impact on the child's development among the several levels of influence within the global system. So cooperation with parents is essential. Psychologists, for example, suggest that a child is part of several interconnected systems that interact with each other, as we can see from this image, where we have the child at the center, then we have the microsystem of parents and siblings, then the mesosystem of school and peers, then the exosystem of community, and the macrosystem of the cultural influence that they get from the outside world. So when family members are actively involved, the chances of techniques learned at school being taught and then practiced again at home increases, of course. So activities that are designed specifically for a child with special needs are more likely to align with the cultural context of the family. because they are rooted, of course, in the family priorities and concerns. So this is why it's important for the multidisciplinary team to also involve the parents. So in that way, we have the, let's say, the two worlds, let's say the best of both worlds, okay, that collide for the well-being and of the child, okay. So this was the end of our training, okay. I just want to tell you a couple more things. So we have included some references if you want to check them out. And the most important thing today is for you to leave your feedback. So before you leave, I ask you please to scan this QR code now and complete the feedback form. It's very quick, it's just a few questions, but it's important because you will receive the certificate only upon completion of the feedback form. Okay, so I will leave you a few minutes to complete the feedback form.
Sorry, Isabella.
Yes.
Sorry, I was just asking if it is possible to share the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, yes, of course. We will share all the materials. You will receive a follow-up email from Susanna. So everything will be shared, and we are also recording this meeting.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, how we scan this QR code, or how we complete the
If you open the camera on your phone, first of all, do you see the QR code in the slide? Can everyone?
Isabel, sorry to interrupt. I think you sent a link where we can see responses, you know, there's like a editable version.
Oh, oops. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see. I'm gonna send you the link. Sorry.
Okay, all good.
Thank you for telling me because I did not notice that.
It's okay.
So wait, just give me a second. I will send the link in the chat. Okay, so maybe it's easier for everyone.
Okay.
Okay, just 1 minute. I found it. I just need to copy the link. Okay, so I'm sending this now in the chat. I see that some people are selecting module 2, 3, 4, and 5. You only need to select that you are providing feedback on module 1, okay? We will show again this feedback form in the next modules, but today is only for module 1, of course.
So what can we do if we have selected the module 2?
You can leave, okay? I just want to, well, of course, thank you for the attention.
I say that
yes.
Because we selected module 2 and our question, our response was actually reflecting on module 1. So what can we do? And we have already submitted the responses.
You submitted the response for another module?
Yes.
Okay, no worries. No worries. We just need, let's say, your name to send you the certificate. In that sense, before you leave, I just want to, of course, thank you for the attention. And also, I would like to invite you to participate in all training modules. So the second module will be on the 5th of November at the same time from 4 till 7. And then the next ones will be on the 18th of November, 2nd of December, and 9th of December. So again, I invite you to participate in all the modules because they will tackle different topics. So I'm sure they will all be useful for your teaching. Again, I thank you for your participation, and I hope to see you in the next module. Okay?
Susanna?
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm not Susanna, I'm Isabel, because I am in her account.
In our language, we say
You
Asante
cannot tell me.
Sana.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Isabella?
Yes?
I think we have a problem with the time because in Portugal are now 6 o'clock.
Yeah. This is Italian time.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's Central European time. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to consider 1 hour earlier for
Yes.
you. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, you will receive a follow-up email with all the information. Okay. So don't worry.